So good to be back in the bunker.
Oh, I love it in here.
I do too. Have you noticed anything different?
I have. I'm so glad you noticed.
Yeah.
Merxie's decorated, but most importantly, in our fancy new studio, we've got a beautiful screen here with a beautiful big bikebug.com logo.
It's awesome.
Yes.
I love it.
Welcome to the bunker, bikebug.com.
Welcome to the bunker, bikebug.com. Absolutely.
Just in time for Christmas.
I was about to say, as Christmas creeps up, which is even more fitting, because is there anything else you've noticed? That's different?
have, actually, yes. Now, Jay Vine said that he was going to send us a jersey, so we're very excited. And in anticipation, Merxie's been working really hard on decorating the desk. So all of the jerseys look fantastic today. Parramatta, World Champ jersey, Jixie Ride bikes, there's a bit of everything.
Yeah, a lot of different things on the set today, aren't there?
Yeah.
And anything else?
It is. No, this is awkward. Merxie, am I missing something here?
I think he means his tea cozy, Kate.
Hold on. You do have a tea cozy on your head. We're going to talk about that in a second. But Merxie looks like he's installed a little camera in his booth too.
What did we just see? Did we just get our first pictures inside the bunker that's within the bunker?
I don't know. I just saw a
people have spoken. Van
Aert jersey and the people have spoken. He reckons.
Yeah, the people have spoken. They want to see Merxie, and now we have a live feed into the Merxie bunker. We'll unpack it as we go. Some of the decorations are curious.
Yes.
Others, I think,
I saw
fitting.
Van Aert. I'm happy. But I suppose, Joel, to give you full credit, and curiosity, why are you wearing a tea cozy on your head?
Oh, thank you so much for noticing,
Yes.
Kate. Yeah, I'm wearing a tea cozy for episode 69. It's an early Christmas present that I was gifted by a listener of ABC Radio. Shout out to Julie from Mount Garnet. I'm sure she's listening to the podcast as well. But it just got me thinking, okay, pressure's on now to get my Christmas shopping started at least. And here we go. Here's the summation of this whole bit. Where can I go to do that?
This is where I can help, Joel, because we do have Bike Bug on board. Now, heading into Christmas, of course, first comes the big Black Friday sales. And I tell you what, if you want to be organised, jump on board for that because there's some incredible deals. But if you put in the code WHEELHOUSE, you'll get an extra 10% off. How's that? Merry Christmas.
That is
team.
fantastic. Yeah.
But all of the deals will be coming out on the mailing list, so you just need to follow all the links at bikebug.com. Sign up. Make sure you don't miss out.
Merxie?
Is that wheelhouse, just one word, not the wheelhouse?
No, just one word, wheelhouse. And Merxie, you need to take note of that. There are a beautiful pair of mountain bike shoes on there. You've seen how badly mine fit me. We need some new ones. And some snazzy Oakleys.
You want the Oakleys? Yeah, how many pairs of Oakleys have you got?
Possibly 20.
Never enough.
No, because, they've all got their own genre.
Okay.
Some of which are not cool anymore.
These are my horror Oakleys. These are my drama Oakleys. And these are my adult Oakleys.
And anybody who knows me knows how cool I am, Joel.
I was going to say.
I've got to be up to date with the fashion.
You know what I'd like?
Tell me.
A new pair of bone phones.
The bone? Oh, the shocks things.
Yeah, bone conduction.
Like the headphones.
Headphones.
How many pairs of those do you need?
Well, as many as possible. I've got one at the moment. I'd love a spare pair because they've changed my riding experience.
All right. Well, I'll send the code to the missus.
Okay. Code Wheelhouse, 10% off. Jump on. Join the mailing list.
Join the mailing list.
And get involved. That's awesome. Well, welcome to the bunker, Bike Bug. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're in time for episode 69. Now, we have so much to get through today. Off-season shenanigans, we're going to speak about those. We're also going to cover some off-season shenanigans, and after that we will get to some off-season shenanigans because off-season is a beautiful space. But also, according to the UCI, there's 730 days in a year now because cyclists can manage to do all the cyclocross and do everything else that's on the cards for them. We have that segment coming up. I think you've renamed it as well.
I have. It used to be What Now from the UCI.
What's it now?
We've just abandoned that. It's now WTF UCI.
Wait. What does the F stand for?
Fiddlesticks. What the Fiddlesticks?
What the Fiddlesticks UCI. That's definitely what it stands for.
Yep.
That's coming your way. A tot update as well. We have a man on the ground down in Tasmania for the Tour of. We'll get some current information down there. And believe it or not, iPhones and driving sucks for cyclists. Breaking news there. We're going to go into some new research around that. Catherine Bates. So, before anything else, we're going to start with Wout Van Aert.
It's been signed off. Merxie, back me up. You signed off on this.
Yeah, reluctantly, we can do some on Wout. Come on.
Oh, says the man with a Wout Van Aert poster over his shoulder.
I was going to say, there's a Wout Van Aert poster in the bunker within the bunker. So, okay, so look, I love Wout, don't get me wrong, but Merksy, not only have you got to the point where you're approving Wout to be at the top of the rundown, you've hung a poster in the bunker within a bunker.
Well, I didn't hang it, Joel, but I did hang this.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Which is a Peter Sagan World Champion jersey.
There's a Sagan pizza jersey and poster.
Look, we're talking off-season shenanigans,
okay,
right?
Yes.
And Wout put himself at the top of the rundown. It's not
Did
really
he?
my doing. He had a little dance because he's over in Colombia with his friend Rigoberto, and he's going to do the Gran Fondo over there. He's pleasing his fans. He's giving the fans what they want, Joel.
Okay.
And at the presentation, they put on some music, and Wout went party.
Party mode.
He danced.
He got the dancing shoes Wout, did he?
He got the dancing shoes Wout. I must say, he's a better bike rider than he is a dancer. But I'm not, look, people in glass houses, right? I'm not suggesting that I'm definitely a better bike rider than I am dancer as well. But it seemed to entertain the masses.
Oh, look,
So,
as you
there
say,
you
give
go.
the people what they want. Wout dancing is interesting. I saw the reception he got. It was massive. He's not the only cycling superstar that's been getting the superstar dancing shoes on as well.
Well, Remco Evenepoel, the one and only, he's been dancing too. But I had to look this up, Joel.
Yeah.
He's been going to concerts. He's into a music genre, if you will, called hardstyle. Have you heard of hardstyle?
I'm not going to tell a fib now. I absolutely have not heard of hardstyle.
I have not either. And I thought, what is this? So I had a little Google, didn't I? And now hardstyle is described as an electronic dance genre that emerged in the late 90s with origins in the Netherlands, Belgium and Italy. It mixes influences from techno, new beat and hardcore.
Oh, wow.
So it's got like around 150 beats per minute.
Oof.
That is pretty hard style. There's some beautiful song names, Joel, if you will.
Yeah, please.
Beast.
Beast mode or just beast?
No, just Beast. Rock Civilization, that sounds all right. Beat Diz.
Big Diz.
Beat
It's my favourite
Diz.
so far.
Ready for this one?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to diss you right now.
I'm going to diss you right now.
I'm going to diss you right now.
Okay, that's the name of the song.
That's the name of the song.
And
So
is that how it goes? I'm going to diss you. I'm going to diss you. I'm going to diss you right now. Okay,
that's
yep.
what Remco is getting down and dirty to.
I like the
I'm gonna
150
diss you right now.
BPM. That's good because he's a solo guy. That's good training, good off-season training. It's responsible.
It is. Merksy.
They're great bike riders, but they are rubbish dancers. Both of them. Seriously.
I agree. But, you know, it's entertaining because what it does is it, like, bridges the gap a little from them to us. You watch them
course
riding the
it
Tour de
does.
France. They're
Yeah.
superhumans. You have nothing in common with them.
Yeah.
You watch them dance terribly on a dance floor.
And you go, wait a sec.
And they're a man of the people.
I could move like Wout.
Yes.
What does it look like, though? I don't understand. Can you demonstrate it?
What does it look like? It's just a little bit of body shaking and general moving. There's not a lot of rhythm going into it.
I'm going to diss you. I'm going
But
to diss you.
yeah, I'm going to diss you right now. Now, I mean, everybody does off seasons differently. No, I can say that no videos have emerged of the ladies dancing. But Demi Vollering has, she's been in Switzerland.
Okay, what's she been up to?
She's been purchasing a house.
She can
in
afford
Luzerne.
to after the years she's had.
She can,
Yep.
so that's fun. Eliza Longo Borghini, well, she got married, didn't she, to Jacopo Mosca?
Oh, both Liddy Trek,
Yes,
Trek riders.
both Lidl Trek riders, so you can imagine the
Oh.
theme.
Yeah.
Quite a themed wedding.
Good branding opportunity. For
They
the-
had to
for the
pack
team.
their own presents, though.
Okay.
I do love Lidl, I must say.
Okay.
Merksy.
Sure.
Sorry, did you see what Geraint Thomas has been up to in the off-season?
Yes, well, look, Cassia Newerdome has been baking.
Yeah.
Geraint
Sun's
Thomas
out, guns out.
has been brewing.
Hang on, wait. You mean baking as in sun baking or baking
No,
cakes?
baking is in like cakes. Like she really enjoys chilling out and just, doing her own cooking and stuff, which is hard
Carving
on
up.
the road. Geraint Thomas has also been kind of baking brewing, using yeast as well, but not to bake bread, to make a sourdough in his stomach with all the beer he's been drinking. He's been hitting it hard.
That was an outstanding lead-in. So he's been
Thank you.
baking as well, been replacing the yeast of not making bread, making a sourdough in his stomach by getting on the piss.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. In the off-season?
In the off-season, yeah.
Okay, yeah, all right.
He's been hitting it pretty hard.
Okay,
So, every day for 2 weeks, he said he went out every night.
Wow, he's at a bender.
Well, I think this is an interesting one because this year we had the Jumbo boss, Richard Plug, talk about how alcohol's poison and really talk about how it's just rubbish and there's no space for it anywhere.
Okay.
Off-season, not off-season, it's just so bad for your body. And then you've got Geraint Thomas, who has come out and said, he's shared this information openly, and he said, it's part of our culture. It's how we socialise. But you know what, Joel? He's thrown the Aussies under the bus with him.
Yeah.
And he said, it's the Brits and the Aussies. It's how we do it. It's just part of our culture and how we unwind.
And we're just sitting here going, whoa, guilt by association. Thanks for that, Thomas.
not...
True. It's probably pretty true, but really? You have to... Okay, all right. So let's just ask the question. They need a break. It's a long year. A lot of training, a lot of Ks, a lot of racing, a lot of pressure, a lot of scrutiny. A lot of uncertainty this year as well. Is there an argument for getting to the end of the season and letting your hair down on a 2-week bender?
Controversially, I'm going to sound very boring here and say, no, they're paid for their body to be a temple. Times have changed. We used to think smoking was okay.
Yep.
Smoking's not okay. We used to think boozing was okay. Boozing is not okay.
Okay.
And so I think a 2-week bender is still doing more damage to his body than his competition who aren't taking any benders. Merksy, you've got a view on this, I reckon.
Oh, in the Times, he said he needs a blowout during the off-season.
He does.
A period of regular life.
He needs a blowout in the off-season. Well, look, there's the other thing, right? It can cause a lot of weight gain, a lot of calories in alcohol.
Yeah, look, especially if you are brewing that sourdough and drinking the beers.
Yeah, I mean, it pains me to say it though because I don't want to sound like I don't think these guys should have a break. I think they should have a break and relax. And it's just, I think times have changed a bit where relaxing means boozing.
Yeah, look, and in other sports, there's other outlets of choice that come up around this time of year. So I suppose if it's just a couple of cheeky beers. Look, okay, the 2-week bender would be giving team bosses cardiac, stress. But I have to say, I'm all for giving them an opportunity to let the hair down. I'll give an example. Personally, I'm not riding any tours or anything yet, but I am working breakfast radio at the moment, and the hours are quite punishing. I finished this stint on Friday, and you mark my words, Catherine, Saturday night. What's the expression? Tie one on.
Paint the town red, maybe?
I'm out of red paint, but yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right. Merksy, are you going to join Joel on his...
I'd like to, but I just think it's interesting he told the press that he was doing that.
I think it's interesting you told the press too. I think that is a very valid point. But
they're going to latch onto that. Of course they are, because we put these athletes up in these... on these pedestals, and rightly so. They get paid to be these role models and stuff like that. So of course the media's going to jump on it, and it's not really easy for the likes of Geraint or anyone of his profile to go out and have a few cheeky beers and not get videoed or photographed doing it. But in this instance, he's decided to get ahead of that and announce it himself and celebrate it and incorporate Aussies into it as well. So he's kind of like, it's kind of like he's eyeballing the sport, or the team, I should say, and saying, I dare you. I
want
dare you to get
people's
in my
views
way.
on this. I'm very interested.
Merksy?
Maybe if he didn't have a bender, he would have come first at the Giro. Just saying.
Okay.
See,
But is he saying I'm drinking during the year?
No, he's not drinking during the year. But I guess where I'm being really pedantic about this, and horses,
marginal gains.
Marginal gains. Do what you want. Like, I don't care, nor do I judge. I mean, we're talking about it from an interest point of view, not a judgment point of view. And I think it's important to differentiate there. But you're talking about the tiniest of margins. And alcohol affects you during the time. It affects you ongoing. It affects your sleep quality. If you booze in the off season and your restorative sleep isn't as good, your body isn't as ready for when you start training again.
Yep.
Like, you can't tell me that even if it's a tiny difference, there isn't a tiny difference.
It could be. It can be all the difference. Yeah.
Otherwise, they'd drink during the seat. Like, otherwise, it just would be a nothing. We wouldn't even be having the conversation.
It's interesting.
Because we're not the moral police. Like, we don't
No.
care about the fun factor. It's not that.
I want to get in and say, look, you've earned the chance to let your hair down, but I guess you have to be the own best judge on what the impact that's having on you as well. And if you're getting paid enough and the team's saying don't do it, maybe that's a consideration. But I do say there's so much scrutiny, there's so much pressure, there's so much of everything else that an outlet is important. They're not robots. But I do respect what you're saying as well.
But I will also say that I went harder when I was racing than I do now.
Really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
During season?
Yeah, because you feel like you've earned it.
And that's the thing, isn't it?
It's the mental break of
yeah.
feeling like you give yourself a reward.
Yeah, okay. Well, Garrett, bottoms up. We'll see you next year and all the best.
Yeah.
Look, and you know what? If he gets on a podium, like...
Well, but then we'll say he could have won by more. But anyway.
Anyway, it's interesting, but a good debate. Now, the tot is well and truly underway. We weren't able to get down there, unfortunately. It was too busy knitting tea cozies and whatnot. But we do have a man on the ground, no less than Olympic gold medalist, friend of the show, Scotty Mack, who's down there. Scott McGrory himself has filed a report for us.
I like to call him Scott McStory. He's filed. Do you see what I've done? I mean, one might say is gold medal
McStory.
reporting. Joel? See, I'm on fire today. Okay, before my mic gets cut off. The Tour of Tasmania has just wrapped up for another year. It was a great tour. Now, from the outside, in the men's especially, it could look like it was a little bit of a boring race because Bridge Lane dominated the GC. With first and second overall, Matthew Greenwood took the win. But actually, all of the stages were won by different teams, Joel, and it was a very hot competition.
Literally.
And in the women's, there were 3 different stages, all won by 3 different riders, 3 different teams. Ultimately, the GC came down very much to who could climb, because there was some pretty epic climbs out there. And this is where Tour of Tasmania is pretty exciting from the talent ID point of view. And these are the stomping grounds of, where Australia found Richie Port, right? So these are the Strava segments that have never been beaten that elevated him up. And so we can look at what the men and women are doing here and go, ooh, this is exciting.
Hold on a sec, yeah.
Yeah, and in the men, I got really excited to see a young guy from Brisbane, by the name of Max Hobson. And he took himself down there. He rode solo. He wasn't even on a team, Joel, so self-supported. He blew it out of the park and won the first stage.
At 20 years of age.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he might have just turned 21, but 2021. And in the women, Mackenzie Coupland, a rider from WA, she knocked it out of the park as well, just climbing like an absolute gun. Now, she's just moved up from the junior ranks, and she just showed this incredible ability on the climbs. And it's so exciting when they come out of juniors and they're on such a steep trajectory to win. So we're very excited about that. Unfortunately, there was a big accident, though. You know how you often only see cycling on the mainstream news
when there's a big crash. Yeah.
When there's a big crash.
Yeah,
there was a big crash on the last day, but we can report that all is good. Everybody got up and is feeling all right about that. So I think at first glance, Scott was a little bit concerned.
Scott McStory now.
Mr. McStory was a bit concerned because he was doing some media down there, but he was also doing some race directing.
Okay.
He was a little bit concerned about the welfare of the athletes, but it looks like everybody's in pretty good shape in the end.
Oh, that's good. There was a little bit of weather around. We were talking about that as well. So good on Scott McStory for filing that exclusive report.
Yes. And I just have to send some thoughts to James Derrick from ARA Pro Racing from the Sunshine Coast. He's actually from Perth, and he was the worst injured in the crash, Joel. But he sat up and he looked all right. Everyone thought he was fine. Had a bit of a cut on his face, so went off to the hospital to get looked at and made sure he was all right.
Yeah.
Turns out, not okay. 8 broken ribs and a punctured lung. So he ended up in the ICU, but just to be monitored. Henk Vogels looked after him. His parents flew over from Perth. But here's the real kicker. The poor bugger, he's doing well, but he can't get on a plane. So now he has to drive back to Perth.
He has to drive across the Nullarbor.
That's 4,000 kilometres. I hope they're not on Optus. They're not going to have much coverage out there.
He should give Rupert Guinness a call.
He
Talk
should.
about
Well,
covering great distances.
I just hope that they're downloading all their Netflix before they go for him to watch in the back of the car.
Yeah, it's safety as well, room to listen. I've got a great podcast you can listen to. It's 69 episodes old, so if you're listening, which I'm sure you are.
It is. I'll make sure I tag him.
Yeah,
so
the back catalogue's
we're thinking
available.
about James, Derek and his family.
Maybe we can send him a gift from bikebug.com to help him.
Oh, we could. Maybe some, what did you call them? Bone phones.
Bone phones,
Yeah.
just so you can hear what's going on and also hear the Wheelhouse podcast in your ear.
Perfect.
Shameless plugs aside. I
It's
can't believe I
perfect.
didn't segue into that by saying, speaking of tots, because we were talking about Grant Thomas getting on the booze.
Oh, that's right.
Then the tot. But anyway, I'll get it next time.
Yeah.
Next year. Next Tour of Tasmania. Hey, look,
next
exciting.
tot.
I like it all. And thank you to Scott McStory. Great racing all round. The results at the end don't necessarily tell the story of how it played out. I think that's a good lead line from McStory.
It is.
That's
It is.
fantastic.
See? It
Have
works.
you asked him
McStory,
about a
doesn't it?
comeback? Because you're thinking about a comeback. Is he also thinking about a comeback?
Oh, I think he thinks about it every time he watches them race.
Ooh.
But I reckon he'd be more likely to do something gravelly.
Kate. Merksy.
I have it on good authority that while he was down there, he hired a mountain bike.
He did.
hired an
Yes,
He went to
MTB.
Derby. Good one, Merksy. I'd forgotten about that. But he did. He went to Derby Mountain Bike Park. He saw Lucy Phidias, one of the riders from the Cycling Development Fund. He saw her up there.
Yeah.
So he had some riding buddies.
That's excellent.
Yeah, I think he's got a bit of work to catch up on now that he
just
had a
see it
little
now.
holiday. But apparently it's epic down there. Oh, but the funniest part, Merksy, this is very funny, an e-mountain bike.
Yes, okay. I'm
So when I
listening.
say he may have a comeback, I think it may be in the e-mountain bike category, which is a category.
Yeah.
No judgment.
Yeah. You got to get up before you come down.
Yeah.
And a bit easy to do it.
Exactly.
And he's earned the right.
Exactly.
Earning with an E.
Yes. Well, I've told
E-biking.
Merksy that I would love an e-bike for my next bike.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Yes.
Merksy.
Yes.
Yeah,
I know.
okay.
Have to add that to the mountain bike shoes and the Oakleys, please.
Now, you said things are getting all gravelly, which I admonished you for, Kate, for being a bit dirty. But thank you for the segue, because speaking of dirty, one of the most historic cycling events in the country, of course, is the Dirty Warnie, 125 years and counting. Now, we're talking about dirty gravel. Doesn't get much dirtier than the Dirty Warner. Now, shout out to Tim Cutler, who cut loose in the men's race.
He did. And Matilda Reynolds in the ladies. They were slightly different races.
So Tim cut loose and Matilda reigned supreme.
Ah,
Yeah.
beautifully done.
No worries.
And Karen Jones for organising it. She does an incredible job. It does have a history, the Warnie and the Dirty Warnie, going back to 1895. So there are not many sporting events in Australia that go back that far. I think the Austral is the only cycling race that's older.
But the dirty one's newer, right?
Yeah, 1887. You're right. The dirty one is newer. It's more
The cleaner one
modern.
is older.
The cleaner one is older, which is
So the dirty is new, the clean is old.
Yeah, they like getting dirty these days. We digress. Matilda Reynolds, she won,
Slightly,
but
yeah.
not by much. After
Okay.
8 hours and 41 minutes, she only just beat Courtney Sherwell. So great competition. And Sarah Gigante, she's back. We
She's on
haven't
the
seen her
podium.
racing in a while. She was on the podium in third. Tim Cutler, he was quite significantly ahead of the rest of his competitors. He did it in 7 hours and 49 minutes. That is a solid amount of time on the bike.
It's blink and you miss it stuff.
Yeah.
Only 7 hours, 49 minutes and 26 seconds of racing action.
And
for
can
you
I
to
say, I
catch.
hope that they went to bikebug.com and got some butt cream.
Just use the code Wheelhouse, you'll
beforehand.
get 10% off your butt
Yeah,
cream
yes.
as well. I got to say, though, like,
It's shameless. We are shameless.
narrow margins over that amount of time, it's awesome. It's so cool.
It is. And there's just no other sporting events with the same kind of grit. I mean, terrible pun, but
Yeah.
absolute grit involved.
Yeah.
For the longevity of it, but just how hardcore it is too.
It's filthy in the best possible way. It genuinely is. So, hey, well done to
I love
all of
it.
them. Timmy Cutler,
Yes.
Cutting Loose, Matilda Reynolds, Reigning Supreme, and Courtney, I can't think of one for Courtney, I'm sorry. Sheer Determination from Courtney
She
Shear.
went well.
Sure went well. Sure did. She sure did. Fantastic, Kate. That's awesome. Look, congratulations. A historic event. 7:49:26 and once again 8:41:24. Blink and you miss it. Unlike this show,
You'd have to
which
blink a
is-
lot of times to miss that.
That's a lot of blinking.
Let's be honest.
This show is 69 episodes old. Now, one thing we love to do and have been doing since episode 1 is experimenting and making things up as we go. Now, this happened very early on where you said, you know what shits me? And I said, what, Kate? And you said, the UCI. So that evolved and is now a segment. Now, it was called What Now UCI. It's had a name change during the week, Kate.
It has.
What the Fruit Loop, is that right?
What the Fiddlesticks.
Fiddlesticks, sorry, what the Fiddlesticks.
UCI. This stuff writes itself.
Does.
I've got to say, I'm not going looking for this every week. And
Merksy has
Merksy,
a
if that
thought.
ding was to shut me down,
No,
tolerance,
we
darling.
spoke about this at the meeting. It's weird, true, freaky. That's the WTF.
Oh.
Okay. That works.
You broke me. I missed that meeting. Weird. What is it? Hang on. Weird, true, freaky?
Yeah, weird, true, freaky. WTF.
Weird, true, freaky. And here I was thinking it was What the Fire Truck. Washington Timber Fire Trucks. But no, it's weird, true, freaky. Now, awesome. Now, I love
Yes.
this one. As far as this segment goes, the name of Washington True Freakiness could not apply better to the latest call around cyclocross riders and their commitment to cyclocross World Cups. It's
almost no words. This week, what has happened is the UCI has threatened that riders who do not compete in the World Cup for cyclocross cannot compete at the World Championships for cyclocross. They have said there's some really plum quotes, actually. If a cyclocross rider prefers a national competition, well, there is a World Cup, he will not participate in the next World Cup and therefore also not the Cyclocross World Championships. Now, I'm going to assume by the he will not that the ladies don't have to.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Le Patien.
Yep.
The ladies, they can do whatever they like. The World Cup is not a competition where you can choose what you want to ride. Everyone just has to participate.
over 14 World Cup
Hold on.
rounds.
Except they don't.
Yeah.
They're not paid to participate.
No.
They don't have to participate.
Yeah.
The countries can do whatever they like. So I'm not sure why they've got their panties in a wad.
Merksy,
Sorry, it sounded like she said panties in a wad.
thank you so much. Yeah,
I
that's
did.
what I noticed.
I
in a
did.
what?
In a wad.
Panties in a wad.
You know, like knickers in a knot.
But what I was going to say is, sorry, what I was going to say is, does that mean Wout could miss out?
Right. And Wout can't miss out. I
You
will
can't
never
do
watch
without
again.
Wout.
We cannot do without Wout.
No,
Wout
this
can't
rundown
miss out.
can't do without
No,
Wout.
but it would. Exactly, Merksy.
Wow.
It would mean that Wout would miss out. It would mean that Matthew Van Der Poel would miss out. Do you know who else would miss out? Is the Australian team. And hot off the press, ding dong, Joel Spreadborough. I got a media release. Australian team selected for the UCI Cyclocross World Championships.
Okay.
Do you know where they haven't been? The World Cups, right? So, Aussie team, gone. Come on now.
That's ridiculous.
So, Gary Milburn, Miranda Griffiths, Fiona Morris, Tristan Nash, Sophie Sutton, Campbell McConnell, Finlay McRobbie, Liam Cuthbertson, and do you know who else is going?
Scott McGrory.
Scott McStory. No, Max Hobson.
Ah, the 21-year-old from Brisbane
Exactly.
who's lit it up at the top.
Exactly. I'm excited. But yes, it would mean that the Aussies can't go. It would mean that
I'm
Wout
sorry.
can't go.
I'm not sorry.
It's very strange.
UCI, is there not some PR, some optics to be gleaned from these amazing top tier riders doing amazing things in national colours?
The UCI have lost their mind. One of
collective mind.
One of the riders has said, "I don't think it's necessary to exclude people. Ultimately, each country determines its selection. I don't think that the UCI can determine who races or who does not.
That's silly.
Wout and Mathieu must always have the right to ride the World Championships, even if they only ride a few World Cups. If they are the best, they are the best. And then they can also win from the third or fourth row of races."
Yeah, I love that last last side. By the way, they're superhuman.
But
But
yes.
no, look, fair. You know what? I just think them doing what they do in their national colours, in the rainbows, in some cases, of course, is bloody good for the sport. I think the UCI, it's another example of them getting in their own way. They get in the riders' way, that's what they do, but they get in their own way so often with this stuff. I just don't think it makes sense.
Some of the best battles that we'll see in the women's this year will be between Celine Alvarado, the Dutch rider, and Backstead, British rider. Backstead's just ridden a big road season.
Yeah.
She won't be doing 14 World Cups. Should we then not see them race each other? Like, how much would that degrade the sport? My theory on this is that cyclocross is like a viral sport. Everybody loves it. There's all of these wonderful super prestige events. Lots of people go. It's a big deal. The UCI wants their cut of it, and now they're threatening them. Almost
Threatening
like,
let's be, once again,
like the
he
PGA
will
and
not
Liv.
participate.
He will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Laportier.
Yeah.
However, I just don't see that being anything other than just another way for people to say WTF UCI.
WTF,
No more to it.
which of course was weird, true, funky? or something?
Freaky.
Freaky.
How to make friends and influence people.
Merksy.
Just want to add, Matthew and Wout are going head-to-head. December 22, 23, 28, 29 and Jan 1. 5 races on
Awesome.
cyclocross.
See, that's exciting.
That's my summer locked
Give the
in.
people what they want.
Yeah, it's
Dang
a tiny
Dang nabbit.
little bit backwards is what
There's
it
my
is.
rant for the day. I think
No,
we
good
know.
rant.
I think we know which segment's going to be my rant. Kate's rant each week.
We could just do the whole show on WTF
Just-
UCI because
No.
it's a strange old call.
That'll
14
lead to
World
poor
Cup
wheelhouse
rounds and
morale.
It's already a stacked calendar. I made the quip earlier that the UCI is kind of assuming that the length of the year has somehow magically doubled. You got to think about longevity. You got to think about the bodies and the upkeep of that side of
Think
it. as
about
well.
Wout's
It's like,
body.
come on.
Exactly.
Yeah. I did that. That was my fault.
You did that.
I
That
did do
was
that,
your
but you
fault.
do need to think about Wout's body. And then you can see when we cut to Merksy again that we have a wonderful, almost life-size poster that Merksy definitely didn't put up there. There it is for those watching on. I love what you've done with the bunker within the bunker. Can I just say, Merksy, the beautiful wheelhouse paraphernalia in there as well. Peter Sagan
Something for
is
everyone.
represented. River City Studios, the wonderful, wonderful studio that produces this podcast, is represented. Sorry, Merks, I need you to tune into the show while we're recording. So he's just reading his book. That's okay. That's fine. And of course, Wout Bernard has crept his way in as well.
Yes, come on now.
Anyway, what the
Back on
UCI?
task.
Let's get back into it. Aussies. Sorry, Kate. Sorry, one sec.
Get
Hello,
off
Joel
your
speaking.
Mobile phone.
No, you're good. I'm just recording something, but it's okay. I can do 2 things at once. Yeah, it's all good. No, I'm concentrating on the show as well. Yeah, all good. No worries. Oh, sorry.
Crash.
I was on my phone and I just crashed. Inadvisable to talk on your phone while focusing on something else, especially if that task is driving a car. Now, this isn't a news flash by any stretch. If you don't know that by now, maybe you're a member of the UCI. But it's a thing. There's a new report. New analysis has shown that a quarter of crashes on US roads are linked to phone misuse.
Yes, more
That's a
than
lot.
that. 28.4% of crashes in the US, a mobile phone has been used within 15 seconds before the crash.
Mm-hmm.
That surprises me, I must say.
It's taken over speeding. It's the ultimate distraction driving. Now, I'm sorry if you're a bike rider, if you're a cyclist, and you like going for rides for your health, for your for social reasons, whatever. This is a little bit, as if there wasn't enough to worry about. This is a little bit frightening. It's not good news for cyclists because what chance do they have?
What chance do they have? Cyclists have absolutely no chance when distracted drivers are on mobile phones. There is no bike path in the world that will save you from a veering car because they're not paying attention. And there is an age-old debate about cyclists' rights on the road, and we get called all wonderful things like cockroaches and whatnot. But when a driver is on a mobile phone, there is nothing the cyclist can do.
Yeah. Merksy?
Yeah, but how do you stop it? There's over $1,000 fines here. People still do it.
I don't know, but ready for my rant because Amy Gillett, God rest her soul, the driver that hit her on her mobile phone.
Was on the phone. Okay.
Her father was a prosecutor or a fancy lawyer or something.
Yeah.
She got fined.
Got away with a fine for...
Yeah, for taking a life. And this is what happens in Australia. And then the headlines say, you know, motor vehicle they kind of pretend that the cyclist doesn't even exist. So I think they need to crack down on the whole mobile phone thing.
There absolutely has to be a way. And the fines, I know it's been in the news recently in Queensland, the fines, the increasing of fines has worked. They brought in quite a bit of extra revenue, so everyone already turns around and says, the government fundraising. But I'm like, on this one, I'm kind of like, you know what? Fundraising, but also deterring, because the number of offences went down quite significantly. Yes, the revenue went up because people are getting fined a lot, but the amount of people using their phones actually took a downturn. And that's a good thing.
I am all for that.
Yeah.
They've got those new cameras too that they can see like into the car for any kind of like seatbelt misuse or distracted driving or whatever. And there was a photo not long ago of a dog in the driver's seat. Come on now.
Yeah.
Like a driving dog, a dog driving a car.
A dog driving a car.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, they said, it was on the lap of the person driving.
Oh, but the dog wasn't on the phone.
True, the dog wasn't on the phone.
That'll be the next thing. But honestly, this is
a
shot. US survey, but this is a huge issue in Australia, and we've heard it a lot. I remember when we were in Adelaide for TDU and helping, obviously, personally assisting Jay Vine in performing as he did on that race.
We were, yes.
Before that, though, listening to a bit of local talkback radio about the event and callers, the vitriol coming from callers towards cyclists in the middle of this massive event with some huge names there, Adelaide becoming an absolute festival of bikes. The sentiments were malevolent to a very, very concerning degree. I'm literally talking about callers saying, if I wish I could just bloody run them over, and horrendous stuff like that. And to the credit of the announcer who was working on the show, pulling them up accordingly and being like, that is never ever going to be okay. But that's what I'm saying here is there's already this hugely tense relationship. You alluded to it before as well. This is just another layer. And you mentioned Amy, and God rest Amy 100%. That driver getting off like that driver will live with that for the rest of their lives, sure, but that doesn't change the fact that happened and that could have been avoided.
No. Well, 28.4%. That's pretty disturbing. Put your phones down, people.
Watch.
Facebook's
I will demonstrate it right now on the camera here in our brand new studio.
Funk.
Down it goes.
Down it goes.
Thunk. Okay, Kate.
Facebook notifications will be there when you arrive.
I turn that crap off, except for when it's our stuff. Anyway, Kate. Dun 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 dun. It's time for another installment of the Wheel of Misfortune with Catherine Bates. This week, I've noticed that the Wheel of Misfortune has been cut directly in half from two segments. I'll try that again. From two segments last week, we've only got one segment this week. My question to Kate, has Merksy brought out the knife?
No, we are here for the Wheel of Misfortune, and it's just such a standout one this week, Joel, that it stands alone. It needs no company. This week we are spotlighting Dr. Philip Brownscombe's incredible race against the odds from Darwin to Shepparton, about nearly 4,000 kilometres.
Makes the Dirty Warnie look like a Sunday stroll, doesn't it?
He didn't ride it. He travelled that. He was pedalling towards glory, Joel. He hit a snag. He arrived in Shepparton. His derailleur was kaput.
Oh.
But his derailleur, his gears weren't working. It was an old part, out of distribution. So what did he do? He became Sherlock Holmes, Joel.
Yeah.
He jumped on Marketplace. He jumped on Gumtree. Where was he going to find another derailleur in time?
Okay.
He found one in Melbourne. He drove 2.5 hours to Melbourne the morning of his race to pick up a new derailleur, only to arrive and be told, sorry, our stock levels showed incorrectly on our website and we don't have
No.
said derailleur.
So hang on. First one's discontinued product. The original doesn't exist anymore.
Doesn't exist anymore.
Okay, you got to start your race early.
Yep.
Jump in the car. This is a sure bet.
Yep.
Get there. Say, oh shit, sorry, bloody websites keeping them up to date.
No.
Whoops.
So downtrodden, 2.5 hours back to Shepparton. His mate says to him, look, long shot, head to the local bike store. What's the worst that could happen? I tell you what, Joel, this is where this week's Wheel of Misfortune takes a full spin.
Okay.
And we go to the Wheel of Fortune here.
Oh, a fortunate turn.
We do, a fortunate term for Dr. Brownscombe, because he happened to wander into the shop in Shepparton of the one and only BMX Sport Hall of Fame, Lee Egan, who says, mate, we can look after you. In fact, one of the guys in the shop, I think he has that derailleur on his bike.
No.
He'll give it to you. The doc says, my heavens. I'm pretty sure that's an exact quote. My heavens. Sure, great. Out wanders Tour de France hero, Olympic gold medalist Brett Lancaster.
What?
Who takes his derailleur off his old bike, gives it to him. Do you know what happens to this Olympic gold medal winning derailleur? It goes on to win 2 gold medals at the Masters National Championships. And can I say that Dr. Philip Brownscombe, he's the Northern Territory's favourite GP. He's now our favourite GP.
He's our favourite GP too.
In at the Wheelhouse. And there's my full turn of the Wheel of Misfortune for this week.
Merksy.
Northern Territory, I thought there was going to be a crocodile involved.
Sorry.
There usually is.
Sorry.
There usually is.
I mean, I thought it was a pretty cracking
not
story.
I thought it was a snappy story.
Ah.
I'm gonna rename it. It's the Wheel of Misfortunate Fortune this week.
I like that.
I got to ask, the Lee Egan, that's fantastic, but I wish he would have got that intel before doing the early morning drive.
I know. That was a long drive.
And
but
that bike shop, is it a bike shop or is it an Australian Bike Hall of Fame? Because
Well,
there
I
just
think
happens to be royalty.
it could be.
everywhere.
Yeah, regional Victoria is full of delights.
Sure is. That's awesome. Well done. That derailleur, frame that.
I know.
Put that
I
in the
don't think we
museum.
can do better than that
That's awesome.
this week.
That
I'm
is
going to have to
fantastic.
hustle hard for next week.
Would have been better if there was a crocodile.
It would have been better if there was a crocodile.
If
Well,
he'd been
maybe not
chased
for
by a
Dr.
crocodile.
Brownscombe.
If that derailleur had been snapped into the jaws of a 6.5 metre salty
Yes.
and he'd rode on.
Dr. Sherlock,
In
I'll
one
call
gear.
him. He did. Oh.
There's a story.
Right,
Hey,
fellas.
I like it. Merksy, does it survive for another week?
Yeah, I think we'll give it another week, guys.
All right, I'll find a crocodile.
1 week at a time. It's
Or,
1 week
or
at
a
a time.
cassowary, because I did see on the news last night that a cassowary took a dip in the ocean.
Yeah.
Now, they can literally kill you.
They can.
And so I hope nobody tried to pat the cassowary.
Don't go near him. I've been pursued by a cassowary. It was a very terrifying experience.
But let's not terrify our international listeners too much.
Oh, come to Australia. It's great.
Come to Australia, a cassowary will...
But how would
your
you
head off.
describe a cassowary?
A giant bird. It's like
Dinosaur bird.
a dinosaur bird. So like big bird, different colour, but not smiling and wanting to kill you.
It's like half pterodactyl, half emu.
It is
maybe?
very pterodactyl, yeah. A little bit of emu. If you know what an emu or emu for our American listeners.
An emu.
An emu. It's kind of like that, but with an absolute predatorial persuasion.
It's like a really evil big bird
Yeah.
that's not yellow.
It's definitely
and
not
has
yellow.
a much longer neck.
So it's not like Big Bird at all.
It's
So
not
basically,
really
it's not at all
big-
like big
but
birds.
they are
where
both
we've landed.
birds.
Yeah. You might think an ostrich with a murderous intent.
Yes.
But they're very territorial birds. They're not
Anthropologists,
happy
we are not.
about to be. They're not happy about being anywhere near humans or humans being anywhere near them. Very fierce around mating time and that sort of thing. So just stay away. So stay away from crocodiles. Stay away from cassowaries. And a friend of mine got charged by an eastern brown snake the other day as well. But stay away from them. But please do come and visit us here in Australia.
Well, and go and visit bikebug.com if you will, Joel.
Yeah, I think you should because there's some deals happening this week just in time for the big Black Friday sale.
It is now. I have to say, I went on and there was a little button that said filter by stock.
Right.
And I must really be in Christmas mode because I saw stocking fillers.
Okay.
And I was like, ooh, they're organised.
Filter by stocking.
Yes, Wheelhouse is the code that you want for that. We'll, if you've got a memory like a sieve like me, then check the socials.
Oh, but
because
no,
we'll
okay,
put it in there.
absolutely. We'll put it up there. But to get access to these promotions, you just need to sign up to that mailing list. So head to bikebug.com to do that. There is a 10% discount. headed your way. That code again, I'm going to throw to Merksy. What is that code, Merksy?
It's Wheelhouse.
That's really easy to remember. For a really good deal, at a really special time of year, take advantage of the really good sale using the code Wheelhouse. You get 10% off at bikebug.com. Once again, welcome aboard. I don't know. I'm very
we
happy
are
to have you
shameless. Head to bikebug.com.
That's
you want to.
signed off on. Hey, it's locked in now.
It is now.
You're in. Episode 69. It's been a lot of fun. But honestly, get that Christmas shopping done because, as I say, the Christmas gifts start coming from everywhere at this time of year,
They do.
including tea cozies on your head.
It's interesting.
Thanks so much for noticing.
My pleasure.
Yeah, awesome.
I'd like a pot of tea.
You'd like a pot of tea? Yeah, okay. Christmas. Ooh, Christmas is just around the corner, Kate. Just let me quickly check BikeBug for pots of tea.
Pots of tea.
Okay, I'll look else. Hello, Merksy.
Joel, I just maybe you want to take the tag off your tea cozy too.
Oh,
No,
did notice
that's
that.
how they wear it in Mount Garnet.
That's how the cool kids wear it.
Yeah, no, it's this listener does a little line of this stuff, so
Get out of here.
get right out of here. Get right out of town. Okay, like a cassowary emerging from the ocean, we are going to aggressively end the show right now and say, get back here next week. Like, share, subscribe. Tell everyone you know. It's the Wheelhouse Podcast, brought to you by River City Studios, BikeBug, Catherine Bates, Merksy, and myself, Joel Speedborough, according to Kate.
And all that jazz.
And all that jazz. See you next time.